Hey guys, this is your host Thomas Tyree here from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content I will be covering today will be in the sport of football inside the NFL world. Today's bonus segment, I'll be sharing my thoughts on Kirk Cousins signing with the Las Vegas Raiders. So once again, Kirk Cousins and his agent have broke the bank for another guaranteed contract. This time, Kirk Cousins will take his talents to Vegas to play the quarterback position for the Las Vegas Raiders next season. So my thoughts on Kirk Cousins being signed by the Las Vegas Raiders. I do like this signing. I do like the signing of the Las Vegas Raiders, bringing in a veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins that has been around the NFL since 2012. Time is flying, since 2012. And they do have a plan for Kirk Cousins. Now, Kirk Cousins being the veteran guy coming to Vegas, we all know they're going to be drafting Fernando Mendoza, number one overall from Indiana, former Heisman Trophy winner, former national champion with Indiana. He's going to be coming in first overall. So I think it's smart to have Kirk Cousins as a veteran quarterback get ready to start week one and for so on for the Las Vegas Raiders, because this is a tough AFC West division. We got the Kansas City Chiefs that aren't going to go anywhere. I think Patrick Mahomes will be back to 100% when he recovers from that torn ACL injury. You got the dangerous Denver Broncos that were just in the AFC Championship last year with Bo Nix and company. The Los Angeles Chargers with Justin Herbert and company. Like, this is a perfect quarterback bridge scenario for Fernando Mendoza to learn from a veteran quarterback in Kirk Cousins that's been around the league for a very long time and does have a lot of experience in the NFL. So I think this is a perfect situation. And for Kirk Cousins, he knows what he's walking into because he already knows what it's like to play with Clint Kubiak. Remember, Kirk Cousins and Clint Kubiak actually spent 2 to 3 years together in Minnesota with the Minnesota Vikings when Clint Kubiak was the quarterback coach and the offensive coordinator while Kirk Cousins was in Minnesota as the Minnesota Vikings quarterback a few years ago. So he already knows the offensive system that Clint Kubiak is going to run. And also Kirk Cousins is comfortable playing in this offensive system. And he's going to be willing to help Fernando Mendoza. Like I just said, this is a situation where Kirk Cousins knows what he's walking into to help a young quarterback develop and help groom him to be a starting quarterback one day in the NFL. Because remember, he was in this situation 2 years ago with the Atlanta Falcons. He signed a big, massive contract with the Atlanta Falcons, but he was blindsided, if you guys remember, in the 2024 NFL Draft. Nobody knew, and he didn't even know, that the Atlanta Falcons were going to draft Michael Penix Jr. from Washington in the top 10 that year. So he won't be blindsided this time around. And this is an awesome situation for the Las Vegas Raiders. You do not have to throw your young quarterback, Fernando Mendoza, early into the fire in the NFL, because if he plays bad, then people will labelize him as a bust, or he could lose confidence very early on in his NFL career. You really don't want to do that. So if you have a good veteran quarterback like Kirk Cousins to play in front of you, or play in front of Fernando Mendoza for a while, I think this is a win-win situation in a dangerous AFC West division to begin with. So I think if Kirk Cousins can win games, just keep him in there until he messes up, or until you think Fernando Mendoza is ready. And we got to talk about Kirk Cousins' agent, guys, because he's the greatest agent in sports history. This is Kirk Cousins' 11th straight guaranteed contract in his NFL career, and his agent is on a generational run. And he's made more NFL earnings than Tom Brady and Russell Wilson at the quarterback position. This man only has one playoff win. Can we talk about that? That is actually insane, the money that Kirk Cousins is getting here. But I do think this is really solid for the Las Vegas Raiders, because not only do you bring in Kirk Cousins that can really help and develop Fernando Mendoza. I think that's a good role model for Fernando Mendoza to learn from until he's ready. And the Raiders, we can't forget, they did make some pretty good moves during the NFL offseason. They got Tyler Linderbaum, the best lineman on the market, unrestricted free agent. The Ravens didn't franchise tag him. They got Tyler Linderbaum to play the center position. They got Nakobe Dean at linebacker. I said a few weeks ago on the podcast that I think Nakobe Dean is a really solid linebacker. I always liked him since he was playing at Georgia in college. He just didn't have the best NFL start thus far because injuries have played a part. And I think that's the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles moved off him. Quay Walker on the defensive side of the ball, I think that's a good pickup as well. They also kept Max Crosby, because remember, the Ravens and the Raiders trade fell apart, and Max Crosby is now back in Vegas. And they also traded for Tyron Johnson at cornerback. I think he's going to be a solid piece for them in the secondary. So the Raiders got a lot of things to play with. They're basically playing with house money here, because if it doesn't work out for Kirk Cousins, bye, and then you move on to your new franchise quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. But if it does work, then you have more time to let Fernando Mendoza learn from Kirk Cousins, and you keep him in. You use the steady hot hand until things crash down and things go to worse. Plus, the Raiders don't even have that big of expectations for the 2026-27 NFL season, because they only won, two games. They have the first overall pick for a reason, guys. They got blown out several times during the previous NFL season, and Pete Carroll and the whole entire staff that they had a year ago got let go. So they're playing with house money here. We're going to see if this works or not, but I think this is a smart move for the Las Vegas Raiders to bring in Kirk Cousins. But for him and his agent, well done for playing your cards right for another generational run in terms of financial wealth. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Thomas Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.